Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is your host Ryan Staley. I have a very special guest with me on today. I have Tony Greenberg. Tony is the CEO at Ramp Rate and also is invested and advised in over 40 different companies, including blockchain, healthcare, and emerging markets. Also helping with our go-to-market strategy, and is foundational in terms of some of the things he's working on with blockchain as it started and in terms of innovation. Tony, happy to have you on, man. Welcome. Excited to get into this with you.
You forgot international male model.
International man of mystery, just like Austin Powers. We're tapping into the back. So, I mean, dude, there's way more. I mean, the thing I didn't mention, which I think this is cool as hell, is this is going, back in the archives a little bit, but you helped launch the first digital record label with Beck, Beastie Boys, and Foo Fighters, all great bands that I've loved, and I've seen most of them as well. So it's pretty cool, man.
Well, it's I can't seem to keep a job, but the projects keep flying in, so we're having a bit of fun. Thank you for having me.
Talk to me about what you're focused on today, like where you're at, what's your primary focus today, and kind of your mission and your vision.
I think for 20 years I've spent a bunch of time helping other people elevate their business and create impact in the universe and help them measure it. And so now I'm on that same journey to measure the impact across many boundaries in the businesses that I touch. So simply, about 5 years ago, I became focused on a motif, a theme, that's elevating the way business does business. And simply, I've watched a lot of poor businesses that have poor ethics and morals become successful, and I've seen the opposite. And I'm thrilled that we now have the distribution mechanisms, the technologies, the measurement systems to be able to make a choice how we show up in this universe, how we're of service, and how we're able to create value and value exchange with our ecosystem. So I elevate the way business does business, whether it's an investment or as a services component, or however we're working on building value in the universe, and then we try to measure it. So I'm super happy around that. I don't want you to change the world. I want you to make the world better, and I want you to reduce friction, and I want you to work on human rights and environmentalism. But I don't want to talk about it. I want to measure it. I want you to say how many broadband connections you're going to light up to reduce illiteracy in Africa. I want to find out exactly how many gallons of water you're going to make clean for a family. I want to know how the software that you're building is going to create efficiencies in a market that can't access banks or can't access money or don't have fluid marketplaces to buy and sell things that they've created. So when people talk about creating an impact or changing the world, tell me how you're measuring it, and I'll be super, super happy to have that conversation. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm still learning how to do it myself with a band of fabulous gypsies and people that have spent many, many years measuring impact. Yet I'm coming close to cracking the model of learning what a vertical is, learning how it creates value in the market, and figuring out how to build the narrative and the reporting and the audit of that also. Blockchain is an incremental technology. It's not an exponential technology. Right. It is a shifting of how governance happens, and a lot of people seem to connect blockchain to Bitcoin to, this, that, and the other, and they're all kind of different tracks and different memes and different ideas of thought. But the idea is the old school, presumably the old guard, where corporations were created with a shared fiduciary risk with its shareholders, or they guarded the fiduciary risk of the shareholders. These constructs have changed. The command and control businesses of yesterday are being fully disrupted, and there's new entries that come in. In the same way, when the business came in called the internet, everything shifted. Then when compute became distributed, and that became a blockchain, which is in essence a security layer on top of the internet, people started building businesses that started to shift how a secure internet would create value. So without going into a history lesson, I think there's now enough build out over the last 5 years of technologies and protocols that are starting to integrate with real world systems and creating the margin release that we did in Internet 1.0, which sometimes had 40, 60, 70% margin release out of nowhere just by reshifting the business models in these new entities.
How'd you get involved with so many companies? Like, as an entrepreneur, like how are you managing
Not
all
saying
this?
no. I have a vision, and my venture team, we believe there's a thread between digital identity and media and different forms of tech. So we have an idea. They are all simpatico with each other in one way or another. Whether it's an investment in a 500-store chain of hair salons that has some intentions to transition some of their salons to healing centers, to a company that maps DNA to endocannabinoids that does recommendations for supplements. So all of them sort of revolve around the same theme, and I incent my team to cross-map these portfolio companies and grade them on their capacity for impact across their ability to build a business healthy and do work with each other. So it's we pick it like that, and they come to us either for support to grow their firm, or they may come for a check, and then they figure out they need more infrastructure, which is accounting and legal advice and managing employees, and so we'll go down that path. And as we learn more management skills, and I coach some of the CEOs, there's nothing new I got. I learned from masters of the universe how to work in that realm, and so I study a lot of the greatest teachers in each of these spaces to be the guy, because I always tell somebody, you got to get a who to go to, and sometimes that's me. When people decide to be successful, they're not successful because they care about money. They're successful because they have a passion about something, and they drive that passion into a business, and they find inertia. It's about the person being inquisitive and creative and questioning and not being bullheaded, and finding a market with the wind at your back, and having a mentor, and managing your business, being heart-centered. And I've been lucky enough to be able to be focused less on wealth creation and more on doing a great job connecting the dots and connecting the people. If I were to have a mission, is different than my calling. My ability to take disparate humans and find a path for them in random moments to get together, and 1 + 1 = 100, that's my talent. That's a connector. That's a person who looks at people and finds out their deepest value and finds out someone who needs that, and then you sew them together. And if I do that and make sure that there's business models surrounding that, then it's really fantastic for me to find those successes in exponential connecting of humans and projects.
Excellent, man. Thanks for being on. It was awesome. Really appreciate your time and your insights. And where can people find you? Where can they learn more about you and what you're doing, Tony?
Well, I'm like a middle-aged ranting guy. I do a lot of writing. Some current writings are at tonygreenberg.com or in Double Blind Magazine. I talk about extractive capitalism. I have a bunch of stuff from Forbes in the old days, and I'm going to be publishing on some new platforms, especially around the governance of DAOs. So tonygreenberg.com. My company's name is RampRate. Syzygy Impact is my foundation and services organization, and you can find me everywhere fine internet is sold.
Excellent. Well, it was a pleasure. Awesome having you on, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.